Welcome to the Man Whore Podcast.
Whores and harlots, courtesans and concubines. This is Billy Presida, and you're listening to the Man Whore Podcast. Hey, everyone. How you doing? Welcome to the show if you're new. Welcome back if you're not. This is a podcast where on most weeks I talk to women I've hooked up with about sex, dating, sexuality, love, gender, butt stuff, you know, the usual. However, this week's guest is a very special one. It might be the most special of them all. I can barely believe she's on this show. I've got porn icon, feminist role model, sex educator badass, co-star of the movie Boogie Nights, Nina Hartley is with us today on the show. And I am so excited to share her with you in a bit. But first, I got some show dates. People, show dates. Hackensack, New Jersey. This Saturday, August 27th, I will be at Firewaters Bar and Grill over on Route 4. That show's at like 9:30. You can buy tickets at the door. Then I'm back in New York City for a couple of free shows next week. August 30th, I'm at Bar 2A on the Lower East Side. August 31st, I'm at Two Boots Pizzeria in Park Slope. Yes, you heard right. I only perform in the finest of pizza joints. And then Ithaca, New York. I'm up there on September 29th at Acting Out NY as part of the Finger Lakes Comedy Festival. So keep your eyes open for an email about that. And for details on those shows and more, head on over to manwhorepod.com/comedy. And while you're over at my website, sign up for the mailing list. And fill in your zip code. I know it seems like a weird thing to include, but it lets me know where you are, which I know sounds weirder. But if I know I've got a cluster of fan whores, like 1,000 fan whores in Nebraska, guess what? I'm going to book some comedy shit in Nebraska. So go ahead and do that. And so how am I doing? Well, thank you everyone for the well wishes and kind words following the girlfriend announcement on last week's show. I was very excited to share that information and news with you people. I know it's been a long Man Whore Podcast journey as me trying to find, who knew I would find a girlfriend in the basement of an orgy in Brooklyn. That was the answer the whole time. Paige and I had a great weekend. We started it off with a drunken fight. That was good. It was the type of fight where I got worried. I was like, did I jinx this relationship by announcing it on the podcast? And now we're going to break up days later. We resolved that. And Saturday we had a sex party that we went to with her friends. And that was a great time. Oh man. I mean, it didn't start so great. There's this one dude who, I don't know, he's jealous or butthurt about something with me because he kind of made a point to try to be intellectually superior because that's all he had. Dude was like, I don't know why or how it happened, but the topic of comedy and offensive jokes and punching up and shit like that started up, and people were trying to talk about. He was like saying stuff like, like who gets to decide who we joke about, and I was like, comedians. They quite precisely, specifically comedians. We'll take care of who we make fun of. Just trust us, and we'll trust you with whatever you do for a living. They were talking about like punching up and like words you can say and not say and blah, blah, blah. And as the only person in the entire room who says funny stuff to strangers on a stage, I kind of got roped into that one. But he kept making it a point to like argue specifically with me. And he kept making like random arguments. So like at some point he brings in like the military industrial complex or some shit. And I'm just sitting there like, I don't care. I'm looking at this dude arguing with me like, don't you see the titties all around us? How are you having this conversation right now? Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I missed the point you were trying to make because I can literally smell pussy. Somehow I escaped that one. Jesus. But otherwise, I then had a fantastic evening with some fun, sexy people. We didn't get home till like 5 a.m. It was great. And then, Paige and I spent a lovely Sunday just in my apartment, lounging around. I did some podcast editing. She enjoyed my air conditioning. Boring couple shit. Boring couple shit. That's something I get to do now. That's kind of exciting. I could do boring. I get to be mad about dumb things. Like, I think she accidentally stole my pen and lost it, and it was my good pen. And I got to be mad. I got to be like annoyed about it. Don't worry. I stole my roommate. I stole two of my roommate's pens. They're currently auditioning to be the new pen. So, we're happy with that. As you all know, I receive questions via email from time to time asking for advice. I like to read them on air when I find them relevant. So I got this one from Justin C. Justin C writes, "Hey there, enjoying the show. I was wondering if you could thread this needle. I'm a cisgender male, 45, straight, parent to one 13-year-old boy. I'm trying to find a primary partner in a monogamous relationship. Kind of had one until about 6 months ago, and it went great until she got scared of having the feels. Hey man, I totally relate. I have a whole podcast just because everyone I dated was scared of the feels. Hang in there." So I'm back on the dating sites. I've been on OkCupid for a few years. It's been okay. Tinder and Bumble, on the other hand, are way better time investments. I feel like if someone swipes me and I swipe them, there's a pretty decent chance that she'll want to talk to me. But unlike OkCupid, Tinder and Bumble have no way to filter for people who are poly or poly-friendly. I know about open-minded, but the user base is too small to be worth it. Do you think I should put a sentence on my Tinder, Bumble profiles indicating that I'm looking for someone who's cool with open relationships or poly or monogamous situations? P.S. Also, I'm joining the local sex positive meetup group, so I think that will also help a lot. And so now, look, I'm not he said which cities he's in, but he asked me not to include it. But I will say I hear it's a wonderfully hippie alternative sex pos city. So I'm just like, dude, on Tinder, just look for the buzzwords. Just look at, see, I do so much left swiping at this point. Specifically because I'm just looking for people who will be okay with my situation. I'm in an open relationship. So I look for buzzwords: sex pos, queer, ethically non-monogamous, ENM, unicorn, casual, poly, kinky, ethical slut, GGG, man whore podcast. By the way, if you see someone who has man whore podcast in their online dating profile, please take a snapshot and send it to me. If a woman actively puts buzzwords like that in her profile, she wants to attract like-minded people like you. I tend to use my super like. Tinder, I don't know how Bumble works, but Tinder has a super like option where it lets the person know right away, hey, there's a person who definitely wants to talk to you. Rather than them waiting to stumble upon your profile and possibly swipe. But you only get one of those every 12 hours. And I tend to use my super like when I come across an attractive woman who has put out like the slutty beacon or the sex positive beacon on her profile. And by the way, just because someone puts queer or kinky in their bios, doesn't mean they're automatically non-monogamous. But they more likely won't be appalled in learning you don't want to live a traditional lifestyle. They're definitely less likely to be offended that you would even entertain the notion. Also, girls with cool haircuts, I find also tend to be slightly more open-minded. Also, just because she doesn't have indicators in her profile doesn't mean she's not like-minded. Another tip I give is put monogamish in your bio. That's what your bio is there for, to tell people what you want. It allows someone swiping on you or reading your profile to know what your intentions are. You're not looking for casual dating. Seems like you want a committed long-term relationship, an LTR, with the occasional encounter outside of the relationship. So put that in your bio, which is great because now there's no confusion about your intentions. If you were to say at some point that you're looking for that type of relationship, she's not going to go, "What do you mean?" Because it's in the fucking thing. Also, joining your local sex pods and poly Facebook groups will also lead you to events of like-minded people. So, even if you don't date someone serious from those groups, you'll at least be in the right place to get laid by some GGG slutty all-stars. And maybe one of those getting laids turns into a long-term relationship. And now, Justin, normally I've charged a nice little fee for when people want me to write their Tinder bio. But Justin is a longtime Patreon supporter, so pro bono work right here. He emailed me back with what he is going to put in his Bumble profile. He writes, 5'11", easy to get along with, GGG, sex positive, and chill. 420 friendly, a bit nerdy, a bit goofy, well-fed but muscular too. Salsa partner wanted. If you're conservative, religious, or love guns, we probably won't get along. Looking for a monogamous LTR ideally. Part-time parent, no drama. And my response to him was, look, you don't need to describe your body. Cut that out. That's what your photos are there for. Your photos will do that. If your photos don't describe your body, you need new photos. Also, part-time parent, I don't know, to me sounds like your son is a burden and not a joy. You're older, so it's not unheard of to have a kid. So, I would just use your photos to show that you have a son. What I sent to him also, I said, try this. This is shorter. This is briefer. I think this is more to the point. Looking for a monogamous LTR, bonus points if you salsa or want to learn. Sex pos, GGG, 420 friendly. Say hi for more adjectives. There you go. That's it. That's done. That's all you need. Everything else they'll discover in conversation. So good luck to you, sir. And if you have questions or comments or queries or booby pictures you want to send, email me, manwhorepod@gmail.com. Love hearing from you. And also, go like me on Facebook. Like the Man Whore Podcast on Facebook. And as always, I'm sure you all know I'm on Twitter. Same thing, @TheBillyPresida. This week's guest is Nina Hartley. Nina's been doing porn a long, long time. I think she's been doing it over 30 years. She's a legend. She is a porn icon. She's a sex educator. She does sexy sex ed porn videos. So they're the type of sex ed videos that you would totally jerk off to. She's super hot. Again, up there in her age. But I gotta tell you, that would never stop me. Jesus Christ, she is gorgeous. A note about this episode. So I recorded this when I was out in Los Angeles back in April. So this was back when I was both seriously dating that girl and Paige. I only say that because we reference them later on in the podcast. Also, shout out to Emma in Louisville for making me aware of Nina in the first place. You're all going to love this episode. This is a fantastic one. We discuss so many topics. I mean, Jesus, sex work, polyamory, genitalia, sex techniques, being kinky, the prostate, dicks. A lot of talk about dicks. So I'm going to shut my face because, it's Nina Hartley. Why am I still talking? We're on.
Oh, hi. So what you were talking about a minute ago about, does girl A know about girl B? And, girl A knows about girl B, but girl B doesn't know about girl A, but likes you anyway and isn't serious about you. And as someone who didn't have the term non-monogamous or polyamorous when I was growing up, but never had the fantasy of him, I always had the fantasy of them. And so for me, experientially, when you're with me, as long as you're with me and we're having and I'm getting from our time together what I need from you, I don't care what you do when you're not with me.
Right.
I expect you to go have a good time, have a nice life, get more experience, learn a new skill, learn a new technique, bang a new girl. But as long as when my time with you, as long as I'm happy, I don't personally care. So I never could understand on paper why it mattered what you did when you weren't with me, or what a person did when they weren't with you. That's before I understood that culturally enforced monogamy, the expectation of monogamy, and the fact that I'm sure a majority of people are in their hearts probably want to be monogamous. And the great writer Janet Hartley,
who I spoke to a couple days ago.
You did? Isn't she amazing?
She brought me a little surprise.
She did?
She walks in the door.
Yeah.
And she said, I brought you a surprise. I said, what? And in walks, she goes, Dossie. I'm like,
you got both of them? Oh my gosh, we have to hit stop for a second because someone's knocking at the door. No, it's the sad thing when I'm the tech genius and the it's bad.
You two are so cute.
Thank you. I did good. As a sex worker, finding a compatible partner is the hardest thing to do above and beyond finding work or paying rent, because our culture is so disjointed and conflicted and conflicting when it comes to sexual autonomy and sexual difference, that most people think that, sex worker guys are, I swear?
Yeah, you can say
asshole, pig fuck, pimps,
all of it.
And sex worker women are drug addicts with daddy issues, and that's the general negative thing. And the tide of sex positive feminism, the sex positive feminists who are also sex workers, Ella Darling, myself, Lady Gaga, Kinky Gaga, are slowly changing it, but still the general perception in our culture is that people who do sex work are somehow defective, unwell, unhealthy, and we can never find love and happiness. So, but Mother Nature never makes one of anything. So if Mother Nature made me, then there was going to be a mate for me somewhere, because Mother Nature is not stupid. So yeah, we're still mushy after 16 years, which is pretty great.
But being poly, don't you think that people kind of in the poly world are definitely more accepting of sex workers and porn stars as partners than maybe the mainstream heteronormative world?
I would totally agree, because first, to admit that one is poly, it means you admit that you do have a different way of looking at sex and relationships and intimacy than the average bear. Going back to Dossie and Jen, I can't believe you got both at the same time. That's a score, dude. That's gold. Talk about gold.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't know if she had admitted this, and I've never heard her talk about this before, but she said that she banged Wilt Chamberlain.
Get out. Dossie did?
And I'm like, was that an exclusive? Like, what did...
Wow. Awesome sauce. Well, he claims to have banged 14,000 women, which is like, go him. So have you read the book, The Ethical Slut?
That was my introduction to
Isn't it a great book?
It just blew my mind.
Right.
away.
Right.
Yeah.
And so for me, it didn't blow my mind. It is validated. Yes, I knew I wasn't stupid.
Right.
But again, so assuming you're heterosexual?
Yeah.
So as a bisexual...
I check every 8 months to see. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
But, so currently you identify as heterosexual. Yeah. So I always knew, when I started recognizing... I knew I was bisexual before I knew the word, but at 12 years old, it was the 70s, and the books were saying, homosexual experimentation is a normal phase of adolescence and pre-adolescence. And so it's good to know I'm normal. And I realized I never outgrew the phase. Luckily, being the 70s, and Berkeley and liberal parents, I saw the word bisexual, I saw the word exhibitionist, I saw the word voyeur, so I knew that there were labels for the things that I felt. There still wasn't a lot of support for them being normal or normalizing them, but there still were labels for the things I had in my head. So reading Ethical Slut, the first edition, was just such a validation that I wasn't crazy or alone in thinking there's got to be a different way to have relationships, because I suck at monogamy. I always was a cheater. I was never satisfied and happy, and felt very guilty that I was so somehow immature or shallow that I couldn't be happy with one. And it wasn't until I understood that it's an orientational thing.
Yeah.
So a non-monogamous person is unlikely to be able to find lasting love with a monogamous person, and vice versa. So as a non-monogamous person, I may behave monogamously. I can certainly, my behavior, I have control over. So I can tell you I will be faithful to you. And I may even mean it at the time. I may even be able to do it for 2, 6, 4, 12, 24 months. Eventually, as a non-monogamous person, my nature will need further support or expression. That's not, but a person can be bisexual and monogamous. So I'm both bisexual and not monogamous. So the biggest smack against bisexuals is that you can't be happy with one. It's like, no. The gender attraction is one layer of sexual orientation, and the relational preferences are another layer of orientation. So all these orientational layers can be separated out. And so Janet Hartley, The Ethical Slut, is amazing. So there's a new book out on polyamory called More Than Two. More than TWO.
More than two. Oh,
more than two. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The number spelled out. More than TWO. More than two. Brilliant, fantastic, Ethical Slut 2.0. It's so good. And of course, have you yet read Sex at Dawn?
That I have read, yeah. It's a little heavy for me, but I got through it.
Yeah,
It made me feel dumb.
It's heavy signs for the layperson. I loved it. But people, no, I'm not a gender essentialist. It's like, I don't think it's gender essentialism.
I don't even know what that is.
A gender essentialist is that men are naturally this way. Men are naturally want to spread their seed. Women naturally want to always be in love before sex. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
Some men really prefer to be in relationship, and some women just want to go and have a good time.
Yeah. Hi. Well, nice to meet everybody. How you doing?
Exactly.
Guy who likes a relationship, maybe.
Right.
Someone love me back, please.
Yeah. Exactly.
This would be a good time to introduce. I am with the amazing, wonderful, crazy veteran of all things, Nina Hartley, porn star, feminist, sex educator. All the things.
All the things, yeah. Well, thank you. And I'm here talking to a cute young man. So, ladies, call him.
Call me.
Or follow him.
So I am not like the biggest porn watcher, and that I didn't know the names of various porn stars till I actually started this show, right? Because I don't normally make it to the end credits. Like I don't usually.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
So
good, yeah, of course.
I knew who you were, and that I've recognized you. I've seen you in videos. Didn't know your name. I hooked up with a listener in Louisville, Kentucky back in June, right? And about a week later, she says, "Oh my God, that was so fun." And then she said, "Oh, you should really check out this video." And she sends me a link to your video where you're basically giving a how-to finger a woman, which I don't know if that was like a little like, "Hey, dude, you need to read up."
Well, no, I do that all the time because most people have really, really crap hand technique.
Right. But I didn't know if she sent that to me. It's like, "Hey, dude, you need to work on this a little bit."
That's a nice way to say it because my techniques are very good. They work. They're a good way in. Obviously, any individual woman may like it a little softer, harder, up or down, a little faster, slower. Yeah. But the techniques I've developed over years always work with most women most of the time. And then they're easily tweakable to the individual body that you're actually handling at that moment. And they can be, again, they can be altered to, is it a big clit or a small clit? Is it a lippy girl or a tighty girl? Every woman's junk is different.
Right.
Right. And while all male body people have outie junk, some women, have different levels of exterior junk. So again, there's some that have the tiny little outer labia, just very small and petite, inner labia completely tucked away, and it's just a very neat and tidy package. And then people like me, I'm very lippy. Yeah. And dudes, I hear you, I have caught myself in a zipper, and it's like, So yeah, just if you know what, I feel you all very much. So yeah, I've done that, and I know that the secret is to unzip very quickly in one stroke, and then hold your junk and jump around the room going, ow, ow,
just
ow,
just
ow,
like
ow.
a tuck and a zip.
Yeah, I've learned how to do that.
So you can't hold an iPhone while you're doing it.
No, you can't.
Really got to put it in the pocket.
Hence that's why button flies will never go out of style, because you can also unbutton your fly and get a blowjob or fuck somebody and not hurt yourself on the zipper.
But then there are those metal button ones, and they look like you're locking away whatever you have, because it's like some intense.
Oh, the grommets. Oh yeah, but that's on the jeans. It's all good. Yeah. But just don't put those on fresh out of the dryer, because you will burn your stuff. Yeah. The rivets.
your video, by the way, just when you think you can't learn new tricks, you had that one trick where it was like, you place the fingers on either side of the clit, so you're not actually touching the clit, but you're almost like jerking the clit off with the fork.
Not almost. Like, you are doing. That's exactly what you're doing.
And I'm like, what? That's brilliant,
right?
I've since used that and been like, this is gonna make her think I'm really good. Right here, watch this.
And did she like it?
Yeah, cool. I think so. Yeah.
Well, so the secret to understanding. So it's not men and women are not opposite genders. They are the most differentiated genitalia. So if you go way back machine to fetal development, and you can see that it's a differentiation. So in everyone has a phallus. In women, people with vulvas, our phallus is usually quite small, under an inch, and has no other function but pleasure. So we have our pleasure from one place, we eliminate urine from another place, and we birth babies from a third place. So it's all differentiated. In a male person, the phallus fuses, and so that is where the finished person will eliminate urine, will also eliminate semen, and as well become orgasmic. So the phallus is the center of the orgasm in terms of nerve endings. Of course, orgasm is a brain-mediated event because our brain synthesizes all the sensations that we feel. But the phallus, the nerves in the phallus, can be an inch long, can be 10 inches long. Hey, women, Shawn Michaels, whoa, yeah, wee, boop.
But your voice. I've heard you on a couple other podcasts. You do all the little sound effects. And stuff.
I've done it for you. So when you realize, oh, wait a minute. So her clit is like my dick, but really, really small. So how can I do the algorithmic changes in my brain to alter my technique from my phallus, which is this big, to hers, which is that big? So, for example, so you can grab your penis is hard, you can grab it with one hand, and just, so with a woman, do you remember that game when you were a little kid? Got your nose, I got your nose, with grandpa? Well, you think about it, the shaft of your nose is like the shaft of the clit.
Guys, everyone, she's jerking off her nose right now.
Using
basically.
my knuckles. So
yeah,
remember,
using her knuckles.
So when you say got you, when grandpa plays got your nose, he bends his first two fingers and he goes, got your nose. And then his thumb comes through, got your nose. Grandpa. It's a thing, the kids do. So when you're facing a vulva, this technique, the got your nose technique, can only be done facing on, because you're just reaching for it and you're just stroking down either side of the shaft using her clitoral hood as protection. So it's always going to be lubricated. It's not going to be too rough. You're not using your nails, and you can also pinch it and you just work it. And the biggest problem most men have when they're with somebody new is not that their technique sucks, is that they don't make connection with the woman first. So I'm a female and you're a cute guy and I want to be with you. So we're in bed and a body can tell, am I being paid attention to while being touched, or is it just tits? So is a hand feeling tits, or are they feeling my tit?
Right.
So that means you're touching such a way that you let the person respond, and then you change your touch to let them know that you got that. Right. To
like when you hear her gasp, you're reacting to it versus just keep going on with whatever you're doing.
So believe me, I can go tits, and she can be not even in the room with me. It's like, I'm so happy with boobs. Oh my God, boobs are amazing. I like boobs. I love boobs. And so I'm having fun with that. She may be annoyed, bored, angry, not having fun. Right. So the best sex, even if it's one night stand, is we're in the same room at the same time. That's why kissing's important. That's why making out's important. So when you're doing the got your nose technique or any kind of vulva touching, slow it down enough that you can let her respond, and slow down enough that you can actually hear her response before you do the next thing. So there's doing it really quickly, or there's like doing it a little. And then, and as you play with vulva, if you just slow down just a bit, you'll probably have a better feedback.
You are such a sex geek. I love it.
Totally. Because I like women. And I got to tell you, guys, as much as I love chicks, and I desire women the way a heterosexual man desires women, but I love them like a lesbian.
Okay, explain.
Meaning, I've done my homework. I've learned what female bodies like. I've learned how maybe female body people experience the world. I don't use my sex with females and women to stoke my ego. I use it because I'd like to make them feel good. So
am I a lesbian? Is that
no? You're still a dude, but heterosexual men get a bad rap. You're clueless, you're clumsy, you're selfish, you're shallow, you're afraid of commitment, you brag, all these things. And that's just a smack to say, men are assholes and women are bitches. That's just a smack. You can't do that. You're you. Yes, you are cisgender, heterosexual, white male, but you're clearly not a jerk. And for some people, you check off all those boxes equals jerk. You check off another bunch of boxes equals welfare queen. Check off another bunch of boxes equals... People do that,
right?
So you check off. If you do all the boxes as a porn star, people assume A, and when it may not necessarily be so. So I am a sex geek because I want to teach men the skills. Because most women will never let me touch them. Most women are straight.
Yeah,
they need a man. They need you.
You're just being really kind to all the women who will never let you touch her,
and I'm also
you
being
still want to
kind.
help them. That's very
Absolutely.
nice of you.
And because I'm a sisterhood lesbian person, and also more importantly, I love men. I want men to be happy too. I want men to be able to feel confident in bed, so that they can actually build the relationships they want. So not only am I doing it as a service to my sisters, I'm also doing it as a service to men, because I want men to be happy too. I want men to be good enough at sex that women go, "Hey, Billy, what you doing Saturday? Got some free time?" Because I had a good time with him. I think I'll have him back, as opposed to, "Oh my God, I'm so glad he's gone." So for a sex partner to be someone worth having back, you've done your reading, you know your basic anatomy, you know basically where all the parts are, what are they called, how do they work. That's just homework you got to do on your own.
Right.
Secondly, if you're a man person, I recommend highly doing enough masturbation work on yourself that you can stay happy and hard for at least 20 minutes without thinking about dead puppies or granny panties. Actually be in pleasure, for being able to withstand pleasure for at least 20 minutes.
But now, how does one do that besides just masturbation? Are you saying they should just be masturbating and
well, you can use
making it longer?
Mindful masturbation, so when we recalibrate our individual relationship to erotic pleasure and claim it for ourselves, we're going to come up against all of our training, all of our conditioning, all of our assumptions about pleasure, men, women, gender, love, all the stuff. And that manifests in, I got to stop now. I got to rush to the finish. I'm not comfortable in this moment. So it is learning to be settled into your body. And just, as Chris Rock used to say, get a good jerk on. He did a great bit in one of his.
No, I know it.
Yeah.
You gotta get that good jerk. Yeah. I mean, I grew up with a Chris Rock.
Okay. But what does that mean? That means you're going to hang out in the happy zone for a long time and not rush to the finish because your mom's coming up the stairs because you're got to go to school the next morning because you're angry that you don't have a girlfriend. It's like, no. I'm gonna make myself feel really, really good. And so being able to do that without resorting to distraction. Again, dead puppies or whatever.
Yeah.
That takes you out of the room with your partner. So when you're with partner, you want to be able to stay in the room. But also when you stay in the room with your partner and stay in your body during pleasure, that feels uncomfortably a lot like love. And that can be scary. Fair enough. But still, if I'm making love with somebody, I'm fucking somebody, I don't want to look at him and see him doing multiplication tables in his head. It's like, dude, just go ahead and come. That's fine. Brownie points for learning to masturbate while wearing a condom.
Right. That's a very good way to get used to that sensation.
There you
then
go.
I don't want to hear any bullshit. The condom doesn't feel good.
Well, that's not my problem. See, and so so on his dime, a gentleman is well advised to learn how to last 20 to 30 minutes in a good mood before coming. Brownie points for learning for masturbating with a condom until he finds the brand he dislikes the least.
You like skin? I
do like skin.
Yeah.
They're the least annoying. They don't have the condom burn effect quite as badly. But every penis will find one shape or fit or brand that he dislikes the least.
Yeah.
And that should be your thing. Extra brownie points if you practice while you're hard and excited and fumbly, putting condoms on and off. Boom, boom, boom. So just like, so it's like fumble's like, no, I got this. Boom, boom, boom. And you can actually use, Hartley Fleshlight. You can also use masturbation toys with a condom to work on cock control, to work on all of that, which is not a bad thing. So that way, when you are actually in a bed with a woman, you can actually step up to your own fantasies of being not too bad at this. My job as a woman, before I get to bed with you, is to learn how I get off, to be able to take responsibility for my orgasm. So I know either how I get off. That's my job. I need to know what makes me come so that I can share it with you. Yeah. So that we can have a good time together. So the idea, again, going back to the culture, whoa, Nina, he didn't give me an orgasm. I can't give her an orgasm. Not his job. So your job is not to give me an orgasm. My job is not to give you an orgasm. Our jobs as lovers is to make a fun and safe enough place that I can find mine and you can find yours and we'll help each other.
Right.
So no one, I don't come for you. I come for me. And so your job is not to get me off or give me an orgasm or make me come. My job is to first be as comfortable with my body as I can be so it can happen, and then know it well enough that I can communicate to you. to the left, squeeze my boob, bite my neck. What do I need? I should know that. And then also take adult responsibility for my emotions and realize it's not my partner's responsibility to make me feel okay. It's my job to learn how to do partner selection.
Right.
And I've had a lot of bad sex in my life. So much bad sex. Nothing horrific, nothing traumatizing. Traumatizing? It's not even a word.
Traumatizing is a word.
It is, okay.
Totally.
Nothing traumatic, nothing, but just I've had
traumatic. You're right.
Yeah,
That's
right.
probably what it is.
So I have had plenty of sex that's like, okay, well, won't do that again. And that could be not the type of guy, not that situation, not that move, not that brand of lube, right. And so we expect any other physical thing to take practice: skiing, ping pong, driving, cooking, painting, shooting, anything, any physical skill set we expect. You need, hours and hours of practice. And as it turns out, the phone is ringing. Do you want to
get that?
No, just turn it off for a second. That way.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Only because I didn't.
Don't worry about it.
No. That's what cutting is for.
You're Nina Hartley. You totally get like several mulligans.
No, no worries.
But I like what you were saying. What I love about your videos is like you do these like on top of just porn videos, you also do these like very sexy sex ed videos. I mean, like I said, my introduction to you was basically a video that was, I guess, subtly saying, "Hey, Billy, you need to work on your technique," and I learned something from it. And it was also it was the type of educational video I could also jerk it to.
Yeah, that was my intention. There are 40 of them now, and they were intended to be explicit sex ed. So the information's correct, but done in a sexy style with pretty porn people.
Right.
Because again, so going back to the practice thing, but somehow sex, if we love each other, you'll know what I need. And if you look at mainstream media, portrayal of heterosexual sex, a glance across the room, and they are next thing you know, they're stumbling down the hallway, kissing and taking his clothes on. They stumble into bed, and the next morning they wake up and it's really great. That might happen once. I've had a couple of times of that were just like off the charts. The flow, we were in the flow. It was massively awesome. And then we try to do it again. It cannot be repeated. So the idea that if you loved me, you'd know is just wrong. It's incorrect information. Right. And it caused a lot of hurt feelings. It caused a lot of bruised egos. It caused a lot of pain and heartbreak. Because it used to be so easy. It's like, that was when you were strangers to each other and you had the excitement of the new, and that humans love bright, shiny. Yeah. We're big monkeys. Ooh, bright, shiny. Ooh, new. Ooh, new. So Janet Hardy talks about this. There is the human hardwired need for pair bonding. And then there's the human need for variety. So the way she talks about it is that the pair bonding and sexual monogamy are two different things. Our culture demands that they be together when it's not always appropriate over a 20, 30, 40, 50, 60-year relationship. Don't forget, people still die a lot sooner.
Yeah.
And so
they were like, I'll marry this person for life, but it's it's been 20 years. You're supposed to be gone by now. What the fuck?
Exactly. Exactly. No, for sure.
I want to go get a bright young 20-year-old now.
Or two, or whatever. So but the need for pair bonding is very, very strong. What makes Ernest and I do so well together,
Ernest, your
my husband,
yeah,
earlier, Ernest Green, is that we understand the difference between mating and love and romantic love and responsible non-monogamy. So we are an open couple, and that was for both of us, that was a condition that we were upon dating.
Right.
It's that I just got out of a very bad marriage, and there was just no way I was ever going to tolerate in my personal life a possessive partner again. It's like, nope. So I'm not sexually jealous or possessive, and I needed, if I was going to mate again, not just have a bunch of friends with benefits, I needed a person who was as strong on his side of that as I am on mine. And bingo presto, Ernest is that guy. He is very confident. He's a great lover, and he is not sexually possessive or jealous, which is what I needed. And he's funny, and he's age appropriate, and he's culturally, so all the other things that you need in a marriage we have as well, including sexual compatibility.
And you two have been together how long now?
16 years.
16 years.
I've known him since 1989, but we've been together for 16 years.
And before him, you were in that monogamous relationship?
I was in a non-monogamous three-way marriage for 20 years, which is a whole other sideshow carnival thing.
I like carnivals.
Right. You're so funny. I tell people, we broke up not because I'd picked two people. I just picked the wrong two people. And I want all the people to know that non-monogamy is not better than monogamy or more evolved than monogamy or cooler or hipper than monogamy. Non-monogamy is an orientation that a person may or may not have. Am. And it is neither better than nor worse than monogamy. It is just more appropriate or less appropriate. My sister, completely monogamous. You couldn't sell her on non-monogamy for all the tea in China, not even a little bit, because she's monogamous. So for her, that's what works.
Or she hates tea. I mean,
boom, boom. There you go, Billy.
Oh, just got thrown a few punches, guys. How'd you come to be realizing you're poly? Like, when did that happen for you? Was that before or after porn?
Oh, way before porn. Again, back when I was, in middle school, I never dreamt of him. I always dreamt of them. And I didn't know what them would look like. I never dreamt of my wedding day, but rooms full of naked people? Yeah, it was the 70s. But I would have had fantasies of a room full of naked people even if I had been grown up. If I'd been raised in Ohio. Okay. Because that's me. That's my sexual, that is my authentic nature. Luckily for me, I grew up in a time and place that was all about testing limits, finding yourself, being authentic. And my parents, wandered off into the Zen jungle. And I, by the time I was 10, and so they stayed there. They've been there ever since. So I luckily had low religious training, and I never ever was threatened with hell or sin or damnation. We're secular Jews, and so there's never the idea that God's in your brain caring about what you think, and that you're going to go to hell for a thought or anything like that. So I'm very grateful and very fortunate that I was not raised in an overtly religious manner. So I identify as atheist and secular. But as a scientist, I also totally believe in awe and wonder. And for me, something doesn't have to be from God to be amazing, awe-inspiring, awesome. I just don't need a God story to say why might be so. And I'm also comfortable with not knowing. Yeah, something that we don't know yet. And we may never know. We just found the Higgs boson like a year ago. So, we don't know all the secrets of the universe. And that's okay. I don't mind there being secrets. So I just knew that I wasn't like other kids. And I figured very early on that why do you only have to pick one? Why do you only get one? Where is it written? You only get one. Turns out it is written, but I didn't know that. I was 8. So I remember looking at...
You were 8?
No, I didn't have the word poly, but I just remember looking at after school movie, so this would have been the 60s. So the after school movie was some black and white thing from the 50s. And I remember distinctly it was some Western, the ones they churned out, every other month in Hollywood. And as usual, there was a love triangle, and it's usually 2 male friends, and one female. So she the school teacher, she the rancher's daughter, she the banker's daughter, she a town girl. That doesn't matter. And the 2 dudes are either not brothers, but there's 2 guys who are good fellows. Everyone's a good person, so no one's an evil person. And clearly the guys are friends, and she likes both of them, and they both like her, but every time something had to happen so that only one potential partner was left for her to be happy. So the one guy nobly sacrificed himself so the other one could live to go, whatever. Someone had to die. And so they could only be left with one. And even at 8, I didn't even understand what intercourse was. It's like, well, any one woman can satisfy any 2 men. I didn't even know what that, I just knew. It's like, that just didn't make sense to me. Just make no, why did you have to pick? They clearly all like each other. What's the problem? And so now, of course, in the era of poly, and so I first heard when I was late teens, I heard, again, this was the era for people who are younger than 40, on the era of the very forthright and amazing book, The Joy of Sex, which for its time was huge. It was huge. There's The Joy of Sex. In the 70s, The Happy Hooker, everything you wanted to know about sex but were afraid to ask, The Sensuous Man, The Sensuous Woman. Those were like the big 5 books that you could just buy anywhere,
Right.
to have in your that weren't pornography, that weren't pulp novels or porn, straight up porn. And then Playboy talked a lot about lifestyle things and relationship issues in the magazine. But people don't forget that the writing actually really was good back in the day. You really could read Playboy for the articles because they had top notch, real intellectuals writing about it. So I heard about the word swinging. So swinging evolved from wife swapping or key parties again. So
World War II era.
right, and right after. So wife swapping and key parties are very female passive, male dominant. And swinging is very much driven by women. Don't let anybody fool you. Swinging is quite female positive and female centric. And so I knew swinging is organized recreational sex. So it's all above board. Everyone knows about it. Everyone's there. And the main difference between swinging and poly on the face of it is that in swinging, it is assumed and presumed that the pair bond, the couple is the team. They don't do separately. No one's falling in love with anybody else. No one's dating anybody on the side. We do this together, the team. We come to the party together. We leave together. We always play together, at least within visual,
still plays into what the norm.
The norm of we're doing this together. Some very advanced swinger couples, you don't leave the house, but you can leave the room.
Right.
By just, so you don't leave the party separately, you stay, that kind of thing. And so polyamory, and that worked for a long time. I swung with my first husband and our girlfriend. They're still together. And, it was a great place for a bisexual woman because in swingland, women are super duper popular.
The unicorns.
Super duper. No, I wasn't a unicorn because I wasn't single.
Okay. Oh,
but
right.
I was almost a unicorn because being Nina, the porno thing, I could act like a unicorn because I could go up to strange people at parties and go, "Hey, come dance with me," and start groping and taking off shirts right away. And I had because people knew I was a sex performer, they were very comfortable with that.
Wait, let's just get timeline wise. So you got married before or after you started doing porn?
I started porn in 84. I think I got legally married to him in 87.
So by the time y'all were out swinging, you'd already been doing porn.
Yes, the two. I think we started swinging just when I was still dancing and had maybe made one movie.
Okay,
we started swinging before I graduated college, and I graduated nursery school in 85. So I'm sure I was swinging by 83, 84. We got together in 81, so we were certainly swinging before movies. And so I went to plenty of conventions. There's pictures of me at all these conventions with 1, 2, 3,000 other swingers. But swinging is the word we would use now. Swinging is very heteronormative, very dominant culture. It is very
hip. A little bit,
not so hip. What's hipper now is poly kink. So, but swinging for the most part is pretty vanilla. So, do you remember Venn diagrams?
I passed seventh grade math.
Okay,
yeah.
so in the Venn diagram of kinky, i.e., whips, chain, spanking, master slave, mistress sub, whatever you want to call it, and vanilla, one person at a time, rose petals, massages, candles. Kissy, just, and for vanilla is not a derogatory. Vanilla is a flavor of sex that I happen to really, really like. I happen to like more than vanilla, but some people, vanilla is perfectly okay for them their entire lives. And
you like a lot of flavors.
I like a lot of flavors. So, in the one Venn diagram, you have kinky, and the other Venn diagram, you have vanilla, and where they intersect is swinging. So, swinging is either the most vanilla of kinky behaviors or the kinkiest of vanilla behaviors. What do you mean? Well, the kink in swinging is exhibitionism, voyeurism, and partner swapping. But the sex is pretty vanilla. Hugging and kissing, oral sex and intercourse. Just basic, the sex is not quote unquote weird. There's not usually handcuffs involved or, particular forms of address or role playing or overt power exchange. But there's no whips and chains involved, So exhibitionism, voyeurism, partner swapping are all kinks, or even fetishes. So that's where the worlds overlap. Now there are more and more people who are kinky who also are in open relationships or non-monogamous in some fashion, and more private couples who are getting into BDSM. There are plenty of people in BDSM who are monogamous couples. Right. They come to the conventions, they come to the workshops and everything to learn new skills, but they themselves do not invite other people into their bedrooms. So the So all this, so swinging in the early 80s, movies in 84, movies. I finally get free from them in 2000.
What does that mean, free from them?
I mean, I finally left my marriage in 2000.
Oh, the marriage. I thought you said the movies. Okay.
Oh, no, movie. I still do.
Because you're still rocking it.
And I'm still doing them because I like it. But more importantly, you can never be free of porn. Thank you, internet. But I also knew I was a lifer. So when I made my first movie, I knew I was a lifer.
Yeah.
I knew I wasn't that sex, entertainment, sex commerce, sex and education, sex advocacy, sexual policy was my life work. So I never thought, I tell other women have a plan for after, but I don't have a plan for after because I know that this will be my life in some capacity until I'm dead. Right.
Because the shelf life for like a porn star tends to be pretty short because they come in and they try it.
They say that. So I guess the average, there's certainly plenty of young women come in here and do 2 to 4 months or 3 to 8 movies and go, ew, ick. Ugh, right. Bye. Good for them. Yay, go home. Good for you. Leave now. Save yourself. And then others like Ella Darling, who have come in after college and after their degrees and realize, you know what, actually, I've all this education and I want to do this.
Yeah.
So the old story, again, the poor girl with the daddy issues or the rent issues who's forced to do pornography because whatever, isn't really holding up if you under scrutiny.
I think it's really like going out of style now because it's just we're starting to become more and more sex positive. Just it's getting in the mainstream.
It's happening. 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yeah.
And then you have
1 step back is 50 Shades.
That was like 8 steps back. But the 1 step back, of course, are the whole hysteria over the so-called bathroom hysteria over the transgender.
Just talking the buck about that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yes. So in pockets of civility, such as the big cities on the coasts and parts of Chicago, the rest of the country is still pretty conventional and uptight when it comes to sex and sex roles and sexual behavior. And they don't. And we are, we are the sexual minority. Now, I don't have a hard number in my brain. It's not scientific at all. But the way I say it, that 20% of the population is fully, comfortably, absolutely happily embracing the non-monogamous identity.
Right.
Just, and then 20% of the population is fully, happily, and without stress embracing their monogamous identity. And 60% are struggling with one aspect of it or another. Right. Ish.
Yeah. Okay. So still doing porn now. Do you have anything left like you haven't done in porn that you want to? Because I feel like you've had a long career. What did you say it was 30 years? Like 30
32.
years?
I've been in my 33rd year. 84 was March of 84 was my first movie. And so God, do I have
what else does Nina do at this point? I feel like you fucked them all at this point.
Well, I have fucked them all, except I keep meeting people I haven't fucked because the business, of course, also gets bigger and bigger. The pool of potentials get bigger and bigger. Right. But now because I'm a specialty category, on one hand, I'm Nina Hartley, I'm ageless, I'm her. On the other hand, I'm a MILF. And so now when I work with someone of your age, I tell people, I'm old enough to be your mom, but I'm nobody's mom, so it's not creepy. So I don't have kids, so I'm not having sex with someone my kid's age. I'm having sex with someone who could have been my child had I had children. So I consider myself a fellow adult, but the packaging is shifting. So inside, I'm the same as I was at 25 when I started, in terms of my energy, my nature, my ideas. But now I've turned into a MILF or a cougar or a mature, which is fine. I'd rather be that than dead. So yay.
Sure. Yeah.
But
the marketing has changed.
But and people's responses to me have changed. So now, instead of a person maybe seeing a peer, they see either an older lady, who the heck is she? Because not everyone who comes into porn knows who I am, which is fine. Or they see I'm becoming a fetish. So it's harder and harder for people your age to see me as a peer sexual partner, as opposed to a category, older, legend. It's a different thing. It's not a peer-to-peer experience anymore. And also this the whole experience gap. So are you 30 yet?
No.
Okay. So I've been making porn longer than you've been living.
Correct.
I'm gonna know a couple more things than you do, only because you haven't had as much sex as I have had yet.
I'd just show up with my notebook, being like, "I'm here to learn.
Well,
Teach me things."
we can do that, and I like teaching things because I can't fuck you all myself. I need your help.
Yeah.
I can't fuck them all myself. Help me.
I'm happy to help.
Yay, yay, ladies! I'm saying, if you meet Billy, he is a good boyfriend. I can tell. If I was 30 years younger, I would be making a play for at least a one night stand with him.
Hey.
I would.
Well,
I would.
I thought this was funny. I don't know if it's. I mean, I find it funny, but I'm on Twitter and I see a guy. You tweeted like a hand job video, I guess.
Yes.
Or some sort of scene or something with like a picture of a cock, and some other guy tweeted at you like, "Oh, I'd love that to be my cock," and then you were like, "Well, why don't you come do a hand job audition video?" And I was like, "You're accruing hand job videos on the Twitter." It's,
right. It's awesome. It's certain level. The internet is a very mixed blessing. And I'm not quite sure if it is basically positive or basically destructive. I'm not sure yet. On one hand, now the people such as yourself can own the means of production, which gives you more freedom. And if you're an entrepreneurial, hardworking young person, you can make a place for yourself here, which is not a bad thing. And on the other hand, has really hurt creative employment on all levels, for over all classes, for all demographics. So
I feel bad for the craft service guy. He's
right.
They were the first one cut off the budget.
Yeah, right. Totally. Yeah. When I go to a scene, I make sure to bring my own food because I also used to be, you do a shoot. So you'd be there for anywhere from, 6 to 14 hours and they would need to feed you. Now you go and do a scene. Or for example, when people come over here to shoot content, they get here about 2 and they leave about 6. So it's not even meal time.
Right.
And we're all peers. So if do
you shoot here?
Yeah, we have a studio in the back that you can't. I would show it to you, but it's an absolute.
But I'd have to kill you.
No, it's just really sloppy because we just got back from a trip out of town, so half unpacked suitcases and everything. But,
I'm glad that's the type of sloppy it is.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm a nurse. I know things are clean.
So you do sometimes just have some guy like either a fanboy or just a dude who wants to try tweets at you and you'll be like, yeah, I'll do a hand job.
So
video.
what I do, what I've been offering, no one's even taken me up on it yet, is a POV hand job, which means that the guy does not, for people, I want to work with you. And you think you want to be in a situation where your dick is on display and has to work.
Right.
You think that's what you want. You think you'll be able. You want to be able.
Right.
But believe it or not, your penis might have another point of view.
Yeah.
So I tell people here's the stand-up joke about how am I right for porn? So dudes, if you're a dude and you wonder, am I right for porn? 2 things. The size of your dick. So, Nina, is my dick big enough for porn? Here's a handy dandy size chart. If you can cover your erection with one hand, you have a small dick. So if you got into porn, you'd be part of the small penis humiliation crowd. You'd be cast as a cuckold. The small cocked husband stuck in the corner masturbating while his screen wife is being made love to by a well-hung black man. That's right. The whole cuckold thing. But you're not going to get regular work. It's not going to happen. Average cock is a handful and a half. You're talking about hard, choke it up on a bat. And if you have a handful and a half of dick, that's an average dick. Perfectly happy. Most women are going to be very happy with it. You're going to be able to get in her ass. Woo! The minimum size to be in porn and not feel really awkward is 2 handfuls of dick. And anything more than 2 handfuls is porno big, no matter what, period. If you choke up...
I just made it. I just got fist bumped by Nina Hartley, everybody.
So and that's it. So if it takes 2 fists to cover your erection, totally porno size. And anything that pokes over the top after 2 hands, most definitely porno sized. But most women are going to want to... Most women, for that's daily dick and special occasion cock. Mm-hmm. And the difference is 6 inches in my day rate. So I've met very few women who need 8 inches of cock to feel adequately filled. This is why also I want to teach more hand sex, because your hand never goes soft. It can be as big as you need it to be. And also why guys shouldn't be afraid of toys, because if you do want to be monogamous, first, toys are a great way to change up how you feel to each other, to add a bit of novelty.
Yeah.
Something
new.
It's if it's a way to have that threesome without the pesky separate guy. all kinds of things. So I'm a big proponent of toys, vibrators, all the sex toys are merely tools for pleasure.
Right.
They're not dudes. They're not competition.
It's an assist.
It's an assist.
You wouldn't try to jack if someone said like, "Oh, you got a flat tire, I got a jack," you'd be like, "No, man, I'm a real man. I'm gonna lift this car with my hands."
Fist bump again.
I just
exactly.
got 2 fist bumps.
Right, but that's exactly the way to think about it. So, also, if a person is made so insecure by his partner's ability to have pleasure, then he needs to rethink: am I emotionally mature enough to have a partner at all? Because for me, it's like, I just want to be in the room with the girls having an orgasm. I will hold your hair, hold your foot, hold the lube, hold the vibrator. I can just be in the room with it. So if you need to do, and
you're a condom fairy at the parties.
I'm a condom fairy. I'm the condom jockey. I'm the lube jockey, condom disposal, and cunt washer at parties.
The cunt washer? What's that job?
You bring it after they're done. You bring a nice, warm, wet washcloth and wipe her down. Or if you're really fancy schmancy, you have a baby wipe warmer at your party, so you have warm baby wipes. That's just the awesomest.
Hey, anyone from Hacienda listening, can we get one of those at the next party? That sounds nice. I am proud to say that the Man Whore Podcast is a listener-funded show. This is the part of the episode where I like to thank everyone who supports the Man Whore Podcast on Patreon. It is a fantastic way to donate to your favorite independent content creators. So I show my appreciation every week with the impersonal Patreon thank you roll call. So shout out and special thanks to Jennifer C. and SB, Lance, Madeline B., Jazzo, Jeff C., Dave K., Justin C., Nellie H., Ramon F., Sarah B. and Sarah S., Lauren A., Prickly Peach, Lawrence B., Jeffrey J., Holly F., Christina D., Nicole M., Danielle G., it's either Daniel or Danielle because I think he's a little French, French-Canadian. Danielle G, Ed B, Jessica K, Michael P, Millie W, Jeremy B, Frank D, Kyle H, and still more names to go. Brian W, Danielle DP, Megs N, Andrew R, Ben W, Charles G, Chris with a K, Derek N, Sarah M, Carrie W, Catherine B, Alex S, Chris W, a lot of last names start with W. Wow. Lauren M, Gregory Y, Anna Super Slut, Sean B, Dervla, Sean N, Julian D, Dave K, Scott B, Ashley J, CJ K, Steve Dean from dateworking.com, Toby T, Alfredo A, Mark G, Emily S, Anthony C, Greg A, Rachel O, Ben B, and Jeff Z. Thank you all so much, and you too can join 60 fan whores by donating to the Man Whore Podcast on Patreon. You can pledge as little as $1 per month, and you can cancel at any time. To do so, go to manwhorepod.com and click the Patreon banner on the side, or you can download the Patreon app, and you can find me on there. Level 2 and up supporters receive exclusive mini bonus episodes every month, and this week I gave them a mini bonus episode with me and Nina. It's a roughly 11 minutes of our conversation that was taken out from this very part of the episode. So if you want to know what else we talked about, you're going to have to head on over to patreon.com/manwhorepodcast and make a pledge today. But for now, we'll go get back to the rest of me and Nina Hartley. That's why I think your videos, your sexy sex ed are so important, because obviously, until anyone wants to let public schools do any kind of comprehensive sex ed, people are just they're gonna learn from porn.
I know, and they learn so many bad lessons. They learn so many because we don't teach sex education in this culture. A young person cannot know that the sex in porn isn't how it's supposed to be. Air quotes around the word "supposed." And so I hear story after story, and Cindy Gallup will tell you as well that young men have no technique, or they've learned everything from porn. Well, first, young men don't have technique because they hadn't had much experience. Yeah. So that's not porn's fault. It's just a fault of youth. So if I was regularly dating men in their 20s, it would go a whole lot different than the so-called cougar porn does in porno, because porn is a movie, cartoon. Right. It's like it's real as Fast and Furious. You're really going to drop a car out the back of a cargo plane with a parachute, and it's going to hit the ground and then be able to drive away.
But that's a cool scene, though.
It's a total totally cool scene. Rock'em Sock'em Robot. It's freaking awesome. But it's not how cars really work. And so the fact that all of a sudden Shane Diesel's dick is in her ass. That's not how it works.
But do you see like videos that like you're making becoming more popular, maybe more important because they got to learn somewhere?
The enduring appeal of the sex education video is not going away because every day someone turns 18 and needs to know this stuff. Mm-hmm. And the basics on oral sex have not changed in the 20 years since I made the oral sex tapes, which were the first ones. They're still basically, the parts are still in the same place. They're still called the same. They're still called the same name. They still work pretty much the same way. So half of the sex ed thing is just information transferal. Penis, shaft, corona, glands, frenulum, scrotum, testicles, bulb, anus.
Love that frenulum.
I know, isn't it the awesomest? Yay.
When I learned how to do that no stroke orgasm, I was like, this is awesome.
So you're already more skilled than most guys ready to go you.
Have you seen? Yeah, the guy braider is like brilliant.
Isn't it awesome?
Makes it so much easier than like trying to keep an orb-like thing on that one spot. That toy is awesome. I'm a big fan. Guys, people, the Pulse. Octopus. They don't even sponsor me anymore. Go get it though.
Send me a link to the thing because I haven't seen that one.
Oh, it's great.
Aside the fact, one of the nice things about the modern era is that they're really finally developing useful and wide variety of sex toys for men. Mm-hmm. Used to be all about vibrator, dildo, vibrator, dildo, vibrating dildo, butt plugs are unisex. Then they have, of course, the Aneros, which is a male specific butt plug, which tickles the prostate with every stroke. It's actually very nice. Anero's awesome, and Enjoy Toys makes a beautiful stainless steel one. Fucking awesome. So if and also guys are now more encouraged to make friends with their butt because pleasure knows no gender and anuses are universal. Assholes are very democratic. Everybody has one, and it as part of a male person's journey to whole body acceptance. A guy needs to make friends with his butt. The outside. Don't have to go don't ever have to do penetration. But the fact that you think that penetration means I'm gay is strictly cultural.
It's not a light switch that makes you gay. No. It's a button that makes sex awesome.
Bingo, ding, ding, ding. So each of us, I would hope, would learn to lay claim to their entire body and all the feels and all the pleasure. And so if something feels good, gay is who you love, not what you do. Gay is who you love. It's not what you do. So if you want a woman to be touching your butt, therefore that makes you pretty straight and it's not a gay thing. But if it feels good, you should have it. There should be no part of your body, a person's body, that is off limits to them if it feels good because culture. But they also don't know that, in real life, erections or lubrication are usually connected to feelings. So in porn, we manufacture an erection. So, yes, I'm helpful. So if you need a blowjob to help you get hard, I'll certainly fluff you. But most guys these days are self-contained and they manage their own erections. And the way that I manage my own, vulva health, they manage their own erections. And so that part's like, but I prefer the party thing, but okay, fine. So in real life, guys are nervous. They're drunk. They're scared. They're surprised. They're taken aback. Whatever. And their dick's like, not so much. And so they feel bad for having feelings. And so I don't want a guy who can fuck anybody anytime. That means he's probably not very emotionally developed. He's probably a bit of a dick. Anytime, anything, anytime. Most men, we would like to think, have some relationship between their ability to get hard and their feeling state. I feel safe. I feel wanted. I feel sexy and desired. And which is what we would like. We like the erection to be a statement of not just, I'm really horny, but I am horny and I feel okay. And she clearly wants me. So yay, we're all going to have a good time. So there is the guy who's so self-centered, he can get his dick hard even when she clearly isn't in the mood. And that's because he's just blindfolded. And there's a guy who's so heartful that he can't get erection if he thinks she's not in the mood.
That's how I am.
Yeah. And so it's like, so then we have to learn to use our words. And also if an erection is flagging, and also again, mainstream pornography is very heteronormative. It's all about the phallus. And when the phallus has done its squirting, the scene's over. When in real life, the phallus may have squirted and she still may want some more attention. And so it's very heteronormative, and the phallus is the center of it. All about the male pleasure, because most people looking at porn are still men who are masturbating, and that is just the nature. So when I'm masturbating, if I'm a dude, of course it's all about my dick. I'm jerking off. Of course it's about my dick. Why would it not be about my dick? What do you mean? So just to know that every time you add another person into the room, then you have to be able to use your words and say things like, can we slow down a bit? Mm-hmm. You know what? Maybe we should just cuddle. I'm a bit drunker than I want to be. Let's cuddle, and do something else in the morning.
Yeah. And here's, this is a very personal question for me, that you bring that up is, so there's someone I'm seeing. I'm quite smitten.
You
really like her. Sex is not like near the top of her priority list. I've never cared. Didn't matter. I was so into her emotionally right off the bat. I was like, this is great. It happens when it happens. We've had sex a couple times. The sex is even the greatest sex if we're just looking at it objectively, but it's so intense and emotional. I'm all into it. However, I've tried to, what would you recommend for someone? I've tried to open up that conversation, and mostly I get the same answer of just like, I can only come, when we're fucking, and I have to be really into them, but I'm trying to get a little bit more because I'm used to, playing with people at play parties, super communicative people who it's just like, there's a lot of oral, there's a lot of this, there's different things, and everyone's always shouting directions and instructions. And so that's what I'm used to. I'm trying to almost like dial myself back because I like this girl.
Well, yeah, I'm so glad you found someone that you like and you spark with her. If there are many reasons why someone is not yet comfortable talking about sex. First, they're still letting go of their family of origins messaging about sex.
And that's her case.
Okay. So that just takes, so taking you out of the equation, any such person will do well to read Janet Hartley and read, I can give you a list of books to take with you.
Something Betty Dodson, maybe.
Maybe. Essentially,
Betty did the show. She was.
You got Betty to do the show.
Betty.
You got Betty to do the show.
Betty told me I had a very pretty penis. I showed her a pic. There was a picture
awesome.
thing.
High five.
Yeah.
Betty doesn't come out for anybody.
I mean, I had to go into her apartment. I had to go up to the place, but
she go back. No, I knew that. You have to go to her. But that's awesome because she's the grandmother of If you ever hear as a joke or anything about women masturbating in circles, she invented that.
Yep.
She personally has one-on group taught tens of thousands of women how to become orgasmic in the last 40 years. Without Betty Dodson, there would be no Annie Sprinkle, there'd be no Nina Hartley, there would have been no Candida Royale. All hail Betty. And her book, Sex for One, is a must read for anybody wanting to be sexually literate and, more importantly, sexually autonomous and self-caring.
Yeah.
And then her book, Orgasms for Two, is awesome. So it's certainly true that many women can only come a certain way because orgasm is very personal, very, very vulnerable. So until or unless there is a real strong emotional either commitment or connection, I was going to keep my orgasm where I'm used to having it. I want to explore other ways of coming because that makes me feel too exposed, too intimate. So he's, and there's certain things that I don't do with certain people because I feel too, Nina Hartley, there's certain times I feel too exposed and I'm going to back up a little bit here. So that is just partly, she's probably in her early mid-20s. So,
yep.
Okay. So going the way back machine, so I'm still figuring out what of my family of origins beliefs do I believe and what kind of let go. And for me, that was about the whole monogamy thing. My parents, did that trip and believed in that. And so that took a minute. And then there is her own, how much experience she's had, how much sex has she had with other people. So she's, I know that this works. I don't feel stupid doing this, but that's scary. Or if I feel stupid or whatever. So that's just her age, her sheer age. And then, what does sex mean to her? Air quotes around the word mean. So, the whole question, where is this going? What does this mean? What are we? And you may be ready for that talk before she is. You may even want that talk before she does. All you can keep doing is you push a little, use your words, open-ended questions, nothing you should. You can say, how about, I have an idea. Let's, try it that way. I wish I could pronounce her last name, and I wish I knew her. I'll have to get you that website you can post to turn people on to who she's a great sex educator, Marsha Brzezinski. I mean, it's Polish, it's a name from Eastern Europe that has a lot of letters, and I can never.
All right.
I feel so bad.
It's all right.
It's more complicated than Smith. It's like but there are ways to learn how to either both ask questions more than, and then how to say things more like, it's okay. I don't want, it's okay.
Yeah.
That's not that. And also I want to tell young women, have an opinion.
Yes.
Well, anything you want is fine. Can I shave your eyebrows?
That just turns me on. I just dig a chick with no eyebrows.
Yeah, right.
It'll be okay.
Yeah.
I like, we both know Tommy Salami. Are we doing we both in the same mafia? What's going on?
Exactly. So have an opinion. And it's okay to have an opinion, young ladies. All the young women out there, speaking as someone who likes to make love to women, I need to have words. I need to, and when I was her age and younger, I was, new to sex, I would lie there thinking, to the left, to the left, to the left. I wasn't saying it.
Everything you own in a box, to the left.
Right. Right. Gotta get some Beyonce in there.
You can have that punch. It's okay.
So it just took me a lot. I didn't understand that, because the thing, if you love, you'll know what you want. In real life, no. Words. Because also you're in your head, words, saying out loud, ooh, to the left. And then tone matters. There's to the left, or, ooh, to the left. Oh yeah. Oh, don't stop. Or don't stop. Right. Boner killer.
You were getting me hard and then soft.
Boom. Yeah, exactly. So speaking of someone who will break an arm or a leg or a lip trying to please a woman, if she's giving me feedback, ladies, any partner worth your effort wants to know how to be pleasing to you. That's why we're there. We're not there for our own selfish purposes. I can masturbate. We're with you because we would like to see you have a good time. So help us out. We cannot read minds. And when I was first with a woman as a doer, when I was first with my boyfriend being done, all telepathy, all clumsy. And then I was with my first female partner also at age 18. And I realized, I can't read minds.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And that's why I got started. But I didn't get good with words until I started doing porn and started having to talk in a sexy manner.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized, tone matters. And so just remember that. You just do your best Marilyn Monroe, and your partner will just kill themselves pleasing you, ladies. Trust me on this one.
So I should just do a little bit of pushing on the communication and not make it a big deal.
And not while you're in bed.
Yeah, not in bed.
Yeah.
Just the idea is like for example, I think at one point I asked like she was giving me a blowjob, and I was like, hey, how about like you get on my knees? I was just get on your knees so I can stand. I was trying to switch some things around, and she's like, I actually really don't like being on my knees. I'm like, okay, cool, fine, great. And then later I had texted her maybe the next day. I said, hey, so are there any like other like hard things you don't like hard nose, like any other positions or things? She's like, no, pretty much just don't like being on my knees. I'm like, okay, cool. I've got some information out of her. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're
trying.
It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Yeah. But good for you. You're trying on your side. And again, when you're with someone who's less experienced than you are or younger, it's just partly she'll get better as she gets more comfortable, more experienced, and also realizes that she can tell you the things that you're not going to diss her or shame her or make fun of her or leave.
Okay.
And that is, who knows, the previous partner, she may have asked for something. He may have just had some boneheaded response. For example, I'm 19 years old, and my friend in the bed at times 19 went to high school together, and he was famous in high school as a lot of girls wanted him for their first time. And it turned out because he was a nice guy, it wasn't because he had any skills. And so we're finally together, and we're fucking, and again, clumsily fucking at age 19 in missionary position because and I say, ooh, let's do it from behind. And he instantly was shocked and said, I don't do that. And then fast forward 10 years later, I realized, words, he thought I meant anal.
Anal.
And I was thinking doggy.
Doggy.
See,
Yeah.
you know. So that was me being a clumsy 20-year-old who didn't know her words. And so instead of saying, "What do you mean you don't do that?" I mean, I just thought I dropped it because I got a response, and it was like, and I don't even think he and I've never had the conversation about that. We're still friends.
You're still friends with this guy?
Oh my God,
from 19?
Yeah. I liked my friends from high school, and so he probably does not even remember the incident, but I certainly do because I remember being so struck. Because in the 70s, use your words. Let's try from behind.
Right.
And those also, you never hear in books that men don't want to do everything.
Right.
You always hear that women are the prudes and men are the ones pushing. And so here I was having an opinion and asking for something, and him going, that's not the script. Because human.
Yeah. That's why you're the guru. That's why everyone looks to you. Seriously. So so far, how I've referred to these women, because I haven't given them names, I guess. For the on the podcast, I guess, is the other one we were just talking about was I call her Smitten A, and then the other one Smitten B she insists, she keeps reminding me, I have to tell you, you're the reason why she's poly, why she was comfortable being kinky, like you are her fucking idol, like. And you
tell Smitten B that I say thank you very much and you go girl.
Well, if you said Paige, you're great, she'd probably love that.
Paige, you go girl, you get some.
She's in love with you so much that she kind of got mad when I told her about like the hand job audition thing. And she said, "You're doing it, right?" I'm like, I don't know. Not because like I would like getting a hand job from the Nina Hartley sounds like an amazing thing. It's just, I feel like it's funnier to have done one porno and retire than to like do two and retire.
Fair enough.
Yeah?
I completely get it. But I would do hand sex on a woman, POV. Yeah. I mean, it's a question of
Paige, come on out.
I mean, the POV mean that let them keep their anonymity.
Yeah. No, I meant like Paige, come on out to LA. Apparently, you can.
Yeah,
get fingered by Nina Hartley.
And because it's hand sex with barriers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do the gloves.
No one has to test, so you don't even have to. So it's not because I wouldn't be putting my mouth on it because that's a barrier process. So gloves.
You don't have to spend the $200 or whatever.
$160. So it's about gloves. So people have thought, why are you putting gloves on? Do you think I'm dirty? So no, it's to protect you. Mm-hmm. So I consider gloves to be hand condoms. Mm-hmm. So they're for the protection of my partner. Things that go into vaginas don't need to be sterile, but they need to be clean. They need to be clean enough to go in your mouth. And so with a glove, my nails are always clean enough. Everything's smooth. Everything's slick. And when you use gloves and you remove your hand from wherever it is, and you take the glove off inside out, then you can just touch her face or her hair as opposed to, hold that thought, let me go wash my hands. I'm not going to smear goo on you because that's ew. It's like, ew. And then go back in, ew. Glove. A really good session. There'll be 6-8 gloves, skewed everywhere. So I love doing that. No, and then you can use the vibrator. You put a condom on that. So one need never be unsanitary while one is being dirty, because sanitary is a state of fact and dirty is a state of mind.
I love it. Well, I hope some people, maybe Paige will take you up on that, or someone, because you're not the only. I've also seen other porn stars who shoot their own content, like you do. Like
most of us do now, because that's how we can make our money. Yeah,
that's how you get the good stuff. Like there's one, she lives up in Maine. She does a lot of those. I'm forgetting her name. She does a lot of those like incest type videos.
Oh,
and
cool.
What she got. Not Margot. I'm forgetting her name, but she has a thing on her website, because I was looking at her, like maybe have her on the podcast sometime. And there's a page where it's like, work with me, and so basically you have to go up there, you have to do the testing thing, but you'll do basically a free shoot with her, and same process, like do a free shoot, and if it goes well, like then we could work together in the future.
Cool.
I was like,
I love the I love the idea, because I like sex with anybody once. Things being equal for hygiene, health, manners, and grooming. I'm interested. You know what? Again, another thing, because I identify more and more as I get older as queer, not bisexual, but as queer. And what I like about queer sexuality, so I don't say I want to have sex with you. I say I would like to share sexual space with you one day.
Are you saying that right now, or are you just saying that?
I am, because you're adorable, and
oh my God,
at a party.
I already agree. I already agree.
So when I use the term share sexual space, when I say have sex, we all know that we both think PIV intercourse, penis and vagina intercourse. Instead, if I say I want to share sexual space, I'm not promising a behavior or a body part, but I am promising intention. And intentionality is where it's at. So, back when you were little, you probably heard the term making love as a euphemism for intercourse, and we made love. It's a nicer way to say we fucked. But you make love. You create loving feelings through friction and intention. Friction and intention. Doesn't have to be tab A, slot B. It doesn't have to be, it's just, I intend to act lovingly toward you. I'm going to touch you in a way that communicates the fact that I come in peace and I mean good things. Because touch is the universal language. I've had some of the best sex with people who did not speak English. Oh my God. South of France, 1987. Oh my God. It was the best weekend I ever had. Fuck. And he could say yes, no, and super.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
And I met him on a movie set. He's a performer at the time. I was in France doing a movie.
I want to see that movie of him just yelling, yes, no, super.
That's all he had no English. So he had to talk to him through his friend. He'd say, yes, I'd like to have sex with him, but please, he has to ejaculate on my tits. There's no internal ejaculation. Sure. And so instead of saying, because I have a husband, he just said, in Europe they use the pull-out method for birth control. It's very common. Right. It was just super hot, and because we could not speak English, what else was there to do?
That's amazing. Well, Nina, we should probably wrap up because we've been talking for quite some time.
Have you gotten to all your questions?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm good here. This is phenomenal. Yeah,
and there'll never be again. I'll never see you again. Never.
No. Nina, I would love to share sexual space with you.
Yeah, I see. I love the way you learn how to talk. So next time you come out to California, call me.
We'll do. We just shook on it. That's amazing.
We did. You didn't see that at home, but we did. We shook right hands too, and that wasn't that. And I'm someone whose handshake is good, as opposed to no good.
Nina, I want to say where people find you, but it's so simple because you must have heard of the word internet and we're like, I'm gonna get on that because where do they find you? Nina.com.
No, my ex girlfriend did 3 good things in our relationship together, and that was one of them. She was the early tech adopter, and she understood the importance of that. So yeah, I have a 4-letter top level domain, and it's not safe for work. Don't go there for work.
Good point.
Yikes.
Not Buck Angel site where it's very safe for work. This is Nina.com, very not safe for work. Her Twitter's a little safer for work at Nina Land.
Yes. And like Disneyland, only more fun.
Go check her out all over the internet, people. Say hello to her. Go to her website, buy your porn. She's phenomenal. Nina, thank you so much.
Thank you, Billy. You're just adorable.
Keep saying that. Are you a big fan of kissing?
I'm a huge fan of kissing.
Oh God, we're gonna have a good time.
Okay, we're gonna hear. No, here we're gonna listen. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, ladies, he's fun.
I just made out with Nina Hartley.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm ending on a good note and an erection. Everyone, goodbye. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Well, I hope you didn't find the kissing stuff gross. I just thought a lot of you would be cheering and clapping while you heard that. I actually kept a cute count of how many times she told me I was adorable. 5. And so I can die almost happy. Or maybe I won't die happy, but my dick can certainly die happy right now. It's, wow, Nina Hartley. What a fantastic conversation. I will keep you updated should Nina and I ever end up sharing a sexual space together. That seems to still be something that's possible from the last time I texted her. Again, head on over to her website, Nina.com. Folks, follow me on Twitter at TheBillyPresida. Follow Nina at NinaLand. And tweet at both of us. Use the hashtag ManWhorePodcast to let us know what you thought about the show. You can also like the Man Whore Podcast on Facebook at TheBillyPresida. And if you want to email me your comments, your questions, your booby pictures, you can do so over at manwhorepod@gmail.com. Be a part of the conversation with your fellow fan whores on the Man Whore Podcast subreddit. There are individual comment threads for every episode. I post pictures that you may not see elsewhere, questions, queries, articles that I'm quoted in. For all you Reddit people, that's r/Man Whore Podcast. And if you want to hear that extra 11-minute mini bonus episode with me and Nina, make your pledge today at patreon.com/Man Whore Podcast. That's Patreon, patreon.com/Man Whore Podcast. Enjoy yourselves, enjoy your lovers, enjoy your neighbors, enjoy your dog in a non-sexual way, enjoy your week, and stay slutty.